Hello, hello, hello. How are we all doing, friends? My name is Fiona. I use she, her pronouns, and this, whatever this is Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPGs, in which I, Fiona, will read an RPG for an hour or so for accountability reasons. I'll either read it from the Bookshelf of Doom or the Google Drive of Mystery. And we look at RPGs in order to see, what they're about, what unique selling points or something unique about them, what we like about them, what, if anything, we can improve about them, and are they okay accessibility-wise, because that's quite important to me. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well this fine Thursday. I appreciate this is not the stream not really people were expecting that sort of person. I did say today was going to be canon and tomorrow was going to be together / alone. I realised that I have a lot of stuff on, so I was like, I was just doing a few bits of moving around, and because this particular RPG is a little bit shorter in terms of page count, I wanted to do at least a stream today, just and not just cancel at the last minute. So I was going to do this, and it's probably going to last maybe about half an hour, 45 minutes, and then canon has been moved to end of like in August sometime. Really, I should put up a schedule of these things, but I don't because one day I'll actually plan things out a little bit. But equally, if you have any suggestions for some RPGs, ideally if there's quick starts or pay what you want or something like that, or send me an RPG. I'll put the where. Oh, I'm not even typing in the actual chat. Good start. If you go onto my link tree, there you can email any suggestions to where there, and I'd happily look at stuff. Just be aware, I'm about to do the disclaimers. So I am not sponsored by this particular RPG. I should actually say what we're doing today. So today, friends, we are looking at Together Alone, a GM-less two-player game about cross-cultural connection through storytelling by Tristan B. Willis, who is I believe, an artist, a playwright and an artist in the DC area, which is quite fun. But yeah, quickly to go to the disclaimers. I'm not sponsored by the author, the game designer behind this RPG. It was just something that came up on my random number generator for my RPGs. So this is all sort of my initial thoughts. I don't know this person, but having a look at their stuff there is very interesting. They have a cracking website, which I would recommend checking out. On top of that, I'm not a game designer at all. I'm just merely interested, and I read a lot of RPGs, and I run a lot of RPGs for said podcasts, both What Am I Rolling and the DM's Book Club. So that's where I'm sort of, and my interest is in game design and also running games, and like how easy, how accessible it is to run such games if given to them. Interestingly enough, if you checked out Quinn's Quest recently, I know I've recommended them before on the streams. Quinn, on his Patreon, recently put a video up about how to teach RPGs, which is absolutely a cracking video. So I'd highly recommend subscribing to the Patreon if you're able to, and having a look at that video, because I do think it is one of the more interesting videos, because I think there's a lot of way about, like, so what I do, I sort of read for an RPG, and there's questions about, like, how does one actually take in information about reading RPGs, and this is one way I do it. I just literally read it aloud, and that's have my thoughts and percolate stuff rather than just reading it quietly. But teaching RPGs, that's a skill in itself, and I think Quinn's does a cracking job about it, and especially because he did a video about how to teach board games, and comparing the two side by side, it's a very different skill set. So I was going to recommend that at the top of the episode as well. And then disclaimers. I don't know what this game is about, I'll be honest. So I'll try and do content warnings as and when they come up. But if you need to take a moment to step away because you're finding the subject matter a bit uncomfortable, that's okay. You're more important than the RPGs I read aloud for little entertainment. But I hope you're all doing well. Like I said, I'm just a little bit all over the place today, but I still wanted to do a stream because I find it very important. I find it very, very relaxing as well. But I've got lots of stuff to do today, so we'll just better get cracking. And you don't need to hear about what I'm up to. Just getting on with my bits and pieces. But we'll go to Small Fiona Cam. Here we go. And so this is Together Alone. This is the itch page, which again, the link should be in the chat. I'll do it again, just in case. I did check Nightmock before we came online. And also in the doobly-doo underneath the video. First of all, what a great colour. There is something, I think I said this ages ago, but there was talk about Morkborg, the RPG, and people going, oh, the cover is so out there, it's so in your face. Ugh. And Johan Nord sort of did a couple of posts, a thread of posts about why they did the cover the way they did, and it pointed out like the top 100 things on like Drive for RPG and GMs go, a lot of them were browns and greens, and the yellow really stuck out to people. And it was like, it draws your attention immediately. And so they worked that into the graphic design, along with loads of other things as well. So when I see something like this, I'm like, whoa, it's so bright. It's really eye-catching as a result. And just a simple sort of pen drawings as well. Really nice. I love a big banner. I think it's the thing I've said about itch stores. So, sorry, I've gone ahead of myself, but something I always find, where we always start with these streams, we always look at where you can get the RPG and look at the marketing copy. So like that's the first thing people will always see about your RPGs when you're sort of designing them and trying to sell them for profit. And I think they've made great use of the itch page. Like the banner image is a good size. It is it's got information on it, which I assume will be repeated later on. So like that GM-less 2-player game about cross-cultural connection through storytelling. Try to say that as a tongue twister. And it's eye-catching stuff, but it's not pixelated. Sometimes we go on itch and the image is pixelated or it's not good. Like this is a great image to use for promotion, right? And using it everywhere. So that's one thing I'd say about games, like thinking about the shop front, about where you can get your stuff, whether it's itch, whether it's Drive Through RPG, whether it's a indie press revolution, wherever you're selling your games, having a good if it's your cover, if it's whatever, having different sized images, making sure that they're the highest quality possible so that people can see it, and it doesn't look too pixelated. It's just a way just to negate that sort of like, oh, it's not right, and less chance of people turning off, if you see what I mean. So yeah, I think this is just a really nice, very simple, simplistic, which is not a bad thing, but it's like striking image of these sort of like 2 trees, etc. Now again, as always, I don't know if itch does this, but there's no alt text. We'll find out when we go to the actual PDF if there's any text. But there you go. And I love this font. Let's see. So a single envoy arrives in a new land intent on inviting the government and people to join in an alliance with theirs. A local greets them and offers to lead them to the capital. To get there, they must journey together alone, sharing the tales of their people and themselves along the way. Together/Alone explores the stories we tell about our collective and our personal history, and how they may be seen as reflective of us en masse, and how that assumption may feel to the individual. I've got a quote there which says, "The game has solid enough parameters to give you a clear end in sight while still allowing a ton of freedom in storytelling, relationship possibilities between characters, and the overall experience. I played this for the first time last night and had a fantastic time, and I intend to play it many more times." That's quite a glowing review there from Ruby Riot. This is something I haven't seen often, but the game designer here has put, "Please feel free to post comments and videos of your playthroughs, reviews, and inspirations to the page." Oh, well, maybe I'll do this afterwards. Fingers crossed it's positive. I really appreciate everyone who's reached out to talk about it and share their experiences of my games. That's nice. I think if you're able to show that you are open to, like you said, comments and share throughs and stuff like that, I mean, it's good publicity for you. It's a way to get exposure, etc. And yeah, so I obviously, you might have seen it at the top there, I got this as part of a bundle. I'm always a big fan of TTRPG bundles, a couple of years ago now. But if you wish to purchase this particular RPG, it's about $5, so roughly £2-3 British pounds, which is not much, right? It is 7 pages long, I'd say, this RPG, so it's just something to consider. But one thing I will say, I won't be able to show you, unfortunately, because that's not the way I've set up my stream, but it does come with obviously a full sort of full art designed one, but it also comes with plain text. It literally is a Word doc file, so you don't have to have Word or any sort of or anything like it. Literally opens in the most basic sort of what's it called, Notepad, I think it's called, or something on Notepad on the Windows and whatever it is on it, so anyone can access it. I think that's clever. Maybe I will try and show you what it looks like if I can. There's also free copies, you can get community copies below. Again, check it out, so that's quite nice as well. I've got some comments there so we can look at it. What would you do if you had the power to shrink other people to ant size? Well, Dean Torb, that's not the point of this stream, my friend, but thank you for the question. I don't think I would do anything, to be honest with you. I feel like I've got too much on my plate, but thanks for that. Let me see. Then I will go to, yeah, so there. And there's some examples of pages here, which is nice. I've got a nice sort of clear layout and structure. So yeah, I think we should just dive straight into it, shouldn't we? let's go and do that. Where is... There we go. Perfect, perfect. All right, so, as I said, this is 7 pages long, it's PDF. Let's talk about the cover. So again, that cover is the same image that we just saw at the top of the itch screen. I love the border, the yellow and the white, yellow sort of in the middle and then the border. It's very simple, right? It's very simple, but it's very effective, I find. Also, thing to note here is that it is screen readable, which is nice, excellent. Someone's thought about that. No alt text, that's fine. But they've got their name on the front, and you know what the a link. Presumably to, I'm going to say their Twitter, she says? Oh, no, I don't think, there's no, sorry, it's not hyperlinked, apologies. There's their website and their itch, and where you can find them on their socials, which is great. I think that's so important. I mean, I know people differ, and we've looked at other RPGs that don't necessarily have the credits on the page, usually on the front page, but usually have it in the cover. I think it's so important in the actual PDFs to have it, just because if someone's like you see a picture of it and they're like, oh, it's that game, you know, Together Alone, and then you don't know who's written it. I just think always put the credit first thing where people can see it for sure. But yeah, I think it, like I said, it stands out, which is good. And oh, look at that! Got a little bit of a credit, but obviously it's one person's made it, also Tristan B. Willis. So a very straightforward, simple credit section. But again, it's nice. It doesn't take up a full page. I think that's good. There you go. And it says Twitter and Instagram is feeling fickle. I will say they're no longer on Twitter. I did try and find their account and it wasn't there. And their Instagram isn't updated that often. I'd say that as well. Again, maybe that's something to think about if you're a game design. If you're going to include socials for stuff and your games. It's tricky because I also am someone who hates social media. But if you've got a game that you want to really like post the artwork on, or you want to show updates or something like that, what kind of platform would work for you? Is it you, the game designer? Is that where you're going to like put like long threads of like your design process on it? Is that going to be like Twitter or X or Blue Sky? Image wise, obviously, you know, we've got Instagram, but then you need to think about alt text for that. So each to their own on that sort of thing. But I think I wouldn't necessarily. I think nowadays, and maybe it will be dated ASAP, having a Discord link, because I think that's where people would share. I think that's again a way to contact the game designers and all that sort of thing, but share stuff easily rather than Twitter and Instagram, which could easily become dead. I mean, Discord can as well, but I think Discord is a better shout for it. But yeah, it's unfortunate that these aren't linked and they're not hyperlinked. That's okay, but I like the yellow. I like the theme continuing through. And the headings are actual text, they're not images, like we've seen before. So, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so people can see. Ooh, that's too far. Good job. Okay, so what's this about? So we did this before, but we'll read it again. A single envoy, so that's clearly one of the players, arrives in a new land intent on inviting this government and the people to join in an alliance with theirs. A local, the other player, greets them and offers to lead them to the capital, the end goal of the journey, I'm guessing. To get there, they must journey together, alone across an unwelcoming wilderness, sharing tales of their people and themselves along the journey. Together Alone explores the stories we tell about our collective and personal history and how they may be seen as reflective of us en masse, and how that assumption may feel to the individual. So, what do you need for this game? So you need you and someone else, so it's a 2-player game. No GMs. 1 6-sided die. And then 8 poker chips or coins or tokens or edible chips, etc. So 8 things to mark or like a resource, something like that. Dice work quite well for this. Everyone's got it. Look at that, inspiration and acknowledgements. Amazing. I love that sort of thing. So we have the Hainish Cycle, specifically The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. That's the dragon person, isn't it? Echo by Rollover Dead Play. I don't know that one. Again, it would be nice if you're having link URLs. It'd be nice to have a link. Quiet Year by Avery Alder. A pretty good game. A big game. We've not covered it on Too Long Didn't Read before, but we've done it as part of Where. The elements of the first page design were inspired by a market show designer's layout on Canva. Oh, interesting. Okay. Fonts used. Excellent. I'm a big fan of people describing what fonts they use. So Industry, Ink, and Journal. This game was created in the traditional territory of Nakotchtank and Piscataway peoples, so giving thanks to the native. No, what's the word? Giving thanks and for the land and what it's been used on, so that's good. And this was created for the folklore jam by H.W. Arthur. Okay, cool. That's interesting. Again, acknowledgements. We've got the. I think I would maybe split them up a little bit because these are clearly. Those are the things there. Those are like media stuff that we can go to. I would have linked that to something if I was able to, but maybe not. But then it's credits and acknowledgements. I think that's a little bit separate. Maybe I'd put these. Perhaps I would put those last couple here, these ones. I'd maybe put that at the top with the credits here. But it might be a bit messy as a result of the layout. Okay, so the wilderness. To reach the capital and begin an exchange with these people, the envoy must travel across a wilderness with the local as their guide. What wilderness will you travel across? Is it a bitter icy expanse, an arid desert, a small boat in a tumultuous stormy sea? That's a cool example though. I would definitely go for that. Would be good to have some prompts perhaps, or maybe roll a d6 if you're using a d6. I always think like getting a table out would be good. The characters. So the envoy already knows, and the local immediately realizes immediately that you and your people are undeniably different. What is the primary difference what's the primary difference you each notice, either in culture or no, it's not psychology. How do you pronounce that? Psychology. Upon meeting each other. So sociology is what I'm thinking, but maybe I'm just being silly about that. So the envoy and the local. So interesting. So there's no prompts there again. It would have been nice to have some examples of prompts, and then it'd be like, oh, make up your own. Because it's assuming a lot of things, perhaps, just for us to get going. So the envoy and the local. I like the colours of it. So the envoy. So you've been sent alone to learn of these people and invite them to join yours in an alliance. Bit of a gap there. Yeah. You plan to stay here until you succeed or die. Introduce yourself to local. Name, pronouns, and official title. Where do you come from? A different country, planet, plane of existence. And what do your people and land have to offer? The local. You recognize the importance and possibilities of the envoy's mission and have offered to lead them through the rough journey to your capital. Introduce yourself to the envoy. Name, pronunciations, and official title. Are you a ranger and a guide, a religious figure, or a local leader? See, we've got some examples here of what you are. And here, I mean, three is enough, but do you believe your government will accept this envoy? What do your people and land have to offer? So this is open information then, that one there. Do you believe? So that's interesting. Introduce yourself to the envoy by giving the name, pronouns, and official title, and then answering that question out loud. Do you believe your government will accept this envoy? Cool. All right, so then it says the journey. Take 4 chips each. The game consists of 4 rounds. Each round is a turn each, starting with the local, and each round indicates 1 week of travel. Roll a d6, or 1d6, or choose a tale from the local tales if you're a local, or envoy tales if you're the envoy. Feel free to describe in detail the situation inspiring your tale, and ask questions of each other to better understand your tales and travel companion. So you do have tables here. Let's have a look-see. So this is the local one. So starting with the local, we have these choice of 6 tales. So you trip today, almost falling into a precarious situation. This reminds you of something a child in your hometown supposedly did. A tall tale passed down from the older kids to the younger for who knows how long. Did you pass the story down to a younger generation as well? Share the tale with your companion. An intimidating storm makes travelling impossible for the day. Tell your companion a myth about a hero who rode the wind. Can they hear your tale over the disturbance? 3 is you come across a recognizable rocky outcropping shaped vaguely like a person of your land. Who is this landmark named for? How many travelers have come across it, or is it a rare sight? Have you even seen this landmark before? In the middle of the day, you come across one of the few creatures that finds the setting habitable. Tell your companion the legend of how this species came to be. That's a fun one. I like that. So you could probably make up animals there. That's quite fun. Your companion is clearly less suited for this journey and has fallen behind as you travel today. What marching song do you share to boost their morale? What event spawned the creation of this song? Did the song's narrators overcome their struggle? Oh, I love that one. That's quite a fun prompt. Like songs, like oral sort of songs being as a way to tell tales. Great. And then finally, 6. According to your calculations, you are low on rations. They might not last the whole journey. Tell your companion of a religious tale in your culture about someone who was divinely granted an abundance in a drought and what they did with it. Alright. Then envoy tale, so the person that's coming to the land. So you offer to cook a home-style dinner one evening, substituting the supplies not available with the closest ration that seems similar. Do the substitutions work? Share the origins of the meal. A family recipe passed down for over generations with your companion. Is there a secret ingredient? Will you share that with them as well? You've noticed the sun feels a little different in this wilderness, a more noticeable presence. Tell your companion how, according to myth, your sun was placed in the sky. Oh, that's a fun one. The shape of the distant horizon reminds you of the first time you travelled to see the most prominent landmark in your land. Oh, we had another landmark one earlier. How old were you? What great accomplishment led to that landmark? Did you ever go back? A howling noise arises at night. It's likely it's just the wind, but disturbing all the same. Huddled near your companion, unable to sleep, whisper the legend of a howling creature from your homeland and how it was defeated. You fall ill for 2 days, a sickness likely brought on about how poorly acclimatized you are to this wilderness. What song does your companion hear you whisper in your fevered sleep? Oh, another song one there. As the hours and days go by, you lose faith in your cause and wonder if the capital will even hear you. You tell your companion of a religious missionary from your culture who went to a new land to spread faith and how they persisted, despite it going horribly, horribly wrong. Do you feel the missionary made the right choice? Do you convey that to your companion? Interesting. That's interesting because then it's like, again, goes back to that what the local said about, do you think the government will hear them? So that's quite fun. Excuse me. So if your companion's tale inspires trust or further interest, whether because of your similarities or differences, put one of your chips in the center pot. Didn't say you had to have a pot. If your companion elicits distrust or if the tale elicits distrust or disgust, take one chip from the center pot. If there are no chips in the center pot, I was going to say if you start out. If there's no chips from the center pot, the local may take one chip from the envoy's hand, but the envoy may not take any chips from the local's hand. So after 4 rounds, so 4 stories each, 8 in total, you have arrived at the capital and pitched to the alliance. Try closing a folk tale or more with, does your home have a similar story? Oh, interesting. That's a nice little optional tidbit, I think. And then, I guess this is the ending of it. So the capital, roll 1d6 to determine how the capital responds. So on a 1 or 2, the capital distrusts the envoy and the people and will not be convinced of an alliance in your or the next lifetime. How is the envoy treated in the light of this mistrust? How is the local treated for assisting them? A 3 to 5 is that the capital feels uncertain about the envoy. There is a chance for the alliance here, but it will take many years and much work. How long does it take? Does the envoy stay and live to see the alliance finally take form? Does the local help their cause during this lifetime, and how? And then a 6. The capital is excited by the envoy's offer of alliance and is happy to begin negotiations immediately. What role does the local take during the negotiations? How does the envoy feel about their mission coming to a close? If you are dissatisfied with the roll, the envoy may take any number of chips from the pot to add to the roll. Think of this as using your companion. Shared. Using what your companion shared to make larger assumptions about the people and manipulate the capital. This will negatively affect your personal relationship. After the envoy takes out any... Oh, you guys can't see that. I'm so sorry. There you go. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Yep. Bless me. After the envoy takes out any chips from the pot, the local may use one chip from their hand, if they have it, to either add +1 or -1 to the roll. If you add +1, put the chip in the pot. Okay. Interesting. That's an interesting mechanic. So yeah, you start off by you're just rolling a pure sort of like without manipulation. You're not adding anything to the roll yet. You're just rolling on pure luck and probability. A 1 in 6 chance to get a really good roll. And then you take a number of chips to add from the bowl to add. You can't take them from their hand as the envoy. Okay. Take it to manipulate. That's an interesting one. It affects the personal relationship. I guess because if you enjoy the tale and trust and all that stuff, you put coins into the bowl. If you distrust, you take them from the bowl. Except the local can take it from the envoy's hand if there's nothing left in the bowl. Interesting. The end. After rolling and adjusting the number of chips in the bowl, count how many chips you have left. Ah, okay. This indicates the strength of your personal relationship with the companion at the end of this journey. Use the descriptions as a jumping off point and close the game by discussing how your relationship progresses moving forward, if at all. What was lost or gained during your journey? How does the capital's decision affect the both of you? That's interesting. So there's 2 different endings. I see that now. So the grander scale of like what the overall story mission is for, but then on a personal level. Oh, this is quite interesting. The whole game is about the personal relationship. Interesting. So 0. Wait, how does this work? Wait, count how many chips you have left. Oh, I guess this is in the pot, right? Yes, because you're adding to the pot. Taking away, that makes sense. Alliance or not, if you have a 0 to 2 tokens in the pot, the 2 of you will never trust each other. Your journey revealed a rift you as individuals are incapable of crossing. And then a 3 to 5, you see each other as associates in the task of uniting your lands, but the connection is fairly tenuous, dry, and dependent on your land's relationship. And then 6 to 8, so if you put all 8 in, you are bonded and your relationship is enduring, whether or not the lands at large can reach an alliance. Interesting. I feel it's very unlikely you're going to get an 8 and roll a 6 on top of it. There you go. That's the end of the game. Like I said, it was going to be a very quick one, wasn't it? What do we think? I love the image. I love these sort of very simple pen drawings. They're really lovely. And look at the birds in that one. And it makes good use of the space. Let's go back. Let's do our overall, shall we? So what do we think? So I think the illustrations are really nice. They're very eye-catching, and I think the block color works really well. It's nice that all the text is screen readable. It's not images, and I know that sounds silly, but it's something we always have to say. I like the fact there's credits on the front, which makes sense because it's a smaller game. I think the inspiration and acknowledgements, I think I would split them up to have more of the credits at the top. The inspirations, I think should be, if you've got like a links here, like should be hyperlinked if possible. It doesn't say anything about a bowl or putting it in the center in the what to need first. There's a bit more of a gap here, so maybe like bulking it out a little bit, because otherwise it makes really good use of the space. Yeah, I think like there's one or two, just too many paragraph spaces there. I think it makes really good use of space. It looks very clear. Even with a text-only version, I think this is just very, very clear. I think the game itself is very simple. It maybe assumes a lot of knowledge about, like, I think what would be nice would be having some more tables for prompts, like a D6, because you've got, obviously, these ones for the local and Envoy tales, which I think is great. But I would love some examples for what kind of wilderness it is. Like for here, for example, it talks about like, you know, icy expanse, a desert, a small boat in a sea, like stormy sea, space, underground, going through lava, that sort of thing. You know, I think, or through like an area that's full of thunderstorms or tornadoes, perhaps. That's the things I would put there. And then the difference is, I guess that's a little bit trickier to say what the differences could be. As a prompt table, but I think I have some examples would be nice, even if it's just 3 examples. Like, it goes into here that you do have like 3 different examples from where you come from, which could talk about different country, planet, plane of existence. I like that. Maybe a different timeline. You know, a different kind of what's your official title. I think I would have had them on both sides. Like, are you? Yeah, you're an envoy, but like, what were you before? Yeah. The storytelling itself, I think. Again, for me, easy enough, but I think I would like this little tip here that says try closing a folktale or more with what does your home have a similar story? I think I would give some examples of how to begin stories, perhaps. Like, you know, like I know Once Upon a Time or Once There Was and all that sort of thing. But I think just giving people a lead into, so they don't have to come up with too much. I guess my other thing would be, how long does this game take? Roughly, because you have 4 rounds. Okay, 4 rounds is 1 turn each, so that's 2 turns each per round, so 8 stories, 4 stories each. They could take ages. Like, I can talk forever, but it takes 4 weeks. It takes a month of travel, so that's something to bear in mind as well. I think the mechanics of like showing out. I think this is a game I would definitely be describing like it's maybe the line between Envoy and local and the line between character and player maybe a bit more fluid, maybe a bit more blurred. Be like, oh, I don't like what you said about this thing, so I'm gonna take a chip from the pot because of this. It does require like active listening and not interrupting and stuff and asking questions. I do think, would you have a time limit for this? I can imagine this game being about 2 hours long. I like it though. I like the structure of it, and I like the gentleness that it comes through. And I think it's presented in a really good style. The capital. I like the 2 endings as well. And the rolling mechanic adding on to that. So yeah, seeing it like, oh, it was a success. The alliance was a success, but at the expense of a good relationship with the person that helped you get here. So I do like that. I think that's good. Yeah, I again, I would definitely play this. I think I would do it for I'd do it for a stream. I would do it for a stream, or I would do it for where I think would be a really cool, fun one to do. I think improvisers would have an absolute field day with coming up with stories and stuff like that, either pulling on from their own countries or folklores, and having that grounded sense of like, this is a purpose to do. Because it's about the journey rather than the end result. I think the only criticisms or critiques I can give really is that I just wish there was alt text. I wish there was some hyperlinks. Yeah, I think it's presented beautifully, actually, and it's very striking and very straightforward. Yeah, I would also like to see some playthroughs of this, I think. So I think you can get some really interesting... And it's a great way to world build as well. We've talked about this before on Too Long Didn't Read, is that any games that you can create characters and create different games, those are interesting. We had one that was about Told by Starlight, which was about drawing a star map and creating stories about the world. Similar thing here, this idea of why two nations get on or don't get on. Great way. I think that's really interesting. More world building RPGs would be like that, do something different rather than lots of prompts. Really interesting. Let's go back to, as we're sort of finishing the stream, I appreciate it's quite a short one today. Let's go back to the website. I want to read some of these comments. Hey, I've played it. It's an interesting game. I like that I could just jump right into playing it. I played this game with my wife and I had a lot of fun with our stories and tales were really odd and didn't make a lot of sense, but we laughed and we had fun and laughed a lot. We played in a short period, maybe like less than an hour. Oh, interesting. I think you take your time with this sort of thing. I liked it. They didn't require any prep or for me to even read the rules prior to our first playthrough. That's always a bonus as well. People you can just learn by playing. It's really good, and that's something that Quinn's Quest talked about in their video. Oh, look at this review here. So Together Alone is a two-player game about an envoy and a local guide trekking across the wilderness to propose an alliance between two cultures. It's 7 players long with solid but subtle layout and mechanically a nice mix between answering questions, storytelling, and building up or depleting trust gauge that gets used in the finale. It isn't very random, although there are a few chance rolls that can skew the outcome pretty hard in one direction or another. It also isn't a game where you win by beating it. You win by playing and making decisions in character and having a good story to tell afterwards. Overall, I'll strongly recommend this to anyone who likes storytelling games because constantly shifting power imbalances and tension of intercultural communication and solid design. A lot of what you get out of it is what you put in. That's a good point, actually. I think you know, if you're putting effort into something like this, I think you get a lot out of it. Because it's quite a, like I said, no prep game, but it rewards you for giving lots of information to collaborate with and listening as well. I think it's an excellent one-shot or conversation game. Probably easiest to hack being into a free-player experience, so long as groups of locals and emissaries share an action economy or token pool. Interesting. And then finally, oops, let's move it over here. Oh, that's not it at all. There we go. We have, HW Arthur. That's the person that did the game jam. That's what it's accredited to, right? A game where you play as an envoy seeking an alliance and their local guide. The two sides share folklore from their culture on their way to the capital. Will sharing the tales of inspire trust between them, or will it expose the incompatibility between the two cultures? This game explores miscommunication across cultural boundaries and difficulties associated with it. You know, this is what I was saying before about getting other people to write the copy for your games. What a great summary that person, this W.H. Arthur, has written. Really good. Just summarised it in a big elevator pitch so that this person, Tristan, could use this for doing this. So that's really clever. I really like that. Really good. Right. Let's... I just want to show you the other games by Tristan on their itch. So they've done a couple of others. There's like the Anomaly. Oh god, this one, the Anomaly. There you go. Superstar Racing Icons. Inventing Incantations. A how-to guide for the modern spellcaster. That looks super cute, I will say. Let's open it. Look how cute the colours are on it. I really like it. So yeah, so I think there's a lot of options. So I definitely recommend checking out these ones. And then the micro RPG years one here, so the houseplant hates and how to help them. Nice. Well, there you go. There you go. They've done a lot of stuff. And like you see here that they are a DC-based playwright and designer interested in the intersection of games and theatre, which I definitely, I can imagine you basing or creating a play on this sort of thing. So that's really cool. Their theme often works in exploring the connection in isolation, a theme more prevalent as they created interactive experiences for audiences from their home in the continuing pandemic. That's a little bit old. That's script perhaps, but yeah, nice, very good. All right, that's it, my friends. That is it. We're going to do that today. This is the last one of this week. As I said, I have moved over the canon one we were supposed to do today to mid-August, just because I've got quite a lot of stuff to do on today. But next week we do have one more stream before Gen Con. Let me move up and I will tell you what it is, because I don't remember anything off the top of my head. Let's see. Ooh, together, alone, that was today. Next week, we are going to be looking at an unusual one. It's the Princess Bride RPG. That's the one that came up on my random number generator. I'm going to look at the quick start. And I'll be honest, it's quite hard to find copies of it. It's been taken down elsewhere. I do have a copy of the quick start, and we'll look at the Kickstarter page and stuff like that, but I'll try and find out why you can't get it anywhere, presumably because of IP reasons. But yeah, so the Princess Bride role-playing game is a cooperative storytelling game. Each player takes on the role of a character within the Princess Bride universe. This character can be anything you imagine inhabiting your version of the Princess Bride universe. Ooh, some sort of copy there, huh? One of the players will create a world and adventure for the rest of the players. The book will be a guideline for you to play fairly within the world, as well as give helpful hints and advice on how to have a fun time around the table. That's really interesting. I think the more and more we have RPGs about that use worlds that we've seen in media, so like Princess Bride, the instantly ones I can look up to up there are like Alien, Blade Runner. We've also had the infamous Neopets Kickstarter that's been out just now for the RPG. Don't support it, guys. Something's not right about it. Like when you have a stretch goal for character sheets, not worth the nostalgia on it. Oh, hello, Hogan. How you doing, my friend? We're literally just finishing up, unfortunately. But I hope you're doing all right, my friend. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do next week. We're going to look at the Princess Bride Quick Start. So it'll be interesting to look at RPGs that are put into or have an IP setting. Like Princess Bride is quite a famous one. Like Labyrinth as well. Yeah, we're looking at that next week. I've got the Quick Start Princess Bride RPG, so we're going to look at that on Tuesday. So check that out then, Hogan. So yeah, we you know, like I'm thinking like the Labyrinth RPG by I want to say Riverhorse Games. That's really good. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, how do you translate a setting, an IP setting that is quite beloved, into an RPG without ruining? Oh no, sad face. Well, we'll see. We'll see. It is. We'll see. Like I said, the Quick Start, I do have a copy of the Quick Start, and I do have a copy of the full RPG because I backed the Kickstarter ages ago. You can't get a copy. I tried to raid into you earlier, but it said you had raids turned off. Oh, I will double check that. I'll be honest, I have no idea what raids are doing, but I will double check and I will get that on. But thank you so much. That's very kind of you, Hogan. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right, well, that's all done. I'm afraid, like, that's the end. Like I said, I have no stream tomorrow because busy, and we have to change stuff around today. Thank you so much for looking at this together alone with me today. That was I liked it. It was a very different RPG. Gotta love a good GM-less two-player game as well. But with all that out of the way, friends, enjoy the rest of your day. I hope it goes swimmingly, no matter where you are. I'll see you for next week. In terms of RPG stuff. Sorry, my brain has turned off as I'm ending the stream. Oh, yeah, what I don't do? Do go check out What Am I Rolling and the DM's Book Club. I always forget. Promote yourself, Fiona. Don't forget. Yeah, so those are the two podcasts that I do. They are RPG related, and you'll find hopefully something that you'll enjoy there. You don't have to listen to it in any order. Just find a topic you like and go from there. It's on all podcast providers, even the weird ones. All right, friends. Oh. All right, friends. I'm gonna head off. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday wherever you are. Play more games as always, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye, friends.